Characters, relationships, connections, groups, everything affects everything else. Everybody will affect everybody else with their energy in some way at some level. And so being aware of that and understanding the different energies of the people that you come across, the different energies of people in a group, and your own energy are going to be really helpful when you are trying to navigate things. I'm Lucy. I'm a peak performance coach and speaker. I'm on a committee. I'm on a committee of people who sometimes rub up against each other the wrong way, and they're not always the kindest they could be to each other. And they're both very strong characters. And everybody else is like very easygoing and we'll talk about things. But these two just recently have been bumping up against each other and then texting within a group chat, and it affects everybody else. That energy comes across and affects other people. And so to be able to help them to understand that their energy is affecting others, it needs to be spoken about. So my question to you is, do you understand that your energy, your thoughts, what you say, and the way that you say it affects other people? And sometimes I know I've said something and I just think, oh, why did I say that? Or did I really say it like that? And I just want to be able to take that back and pretend it didn't happen. But it did happen. So now taking the responsibility for it is my responsibility. And to say, I really didn't mean it like that. And I've had a situation like that maybe 3 or 4 months ago. And I said something that was just upsetting me, what I thought was in a very straightforward way. And the lady took it in a very hurtful way. Thought she was being rejected in a way. And even though we got on the phone and we spoke to each other, I really truly don't believe that she overcame that or has overcome that yet. And now that is now not my responsibility anymore, because I completely explained what I meant, my way of being, who I am, and it's different cultures as well. And she explained how she felt, and we were really hearing each other. But then once you've done that, if you've done that work and you've gone, okay, it's my responsibility, I felt perhaps it didn't land in a way that I wanted it to, and I felt it would have done. And you've then done the work and you've spoken to that person and they are still pushing away, pushing against whatever that is, then now it's their responsibility. Now it's something that's going on inside of them. It's something that they've chosen to hold on to be the victim. They've chosen not to take your word for it, to truly understand. If you've done that work, now that responsibility is no longer yours. So there are two things there, right? So it's one is taking the responsibility. You've gone and done the work to rebuild that relationship. If that person isn't willing to come back to the relationship, it's no longer your responsibility, it's theirs. If they choose not to continue with that relationship, that's fine. The challenge comes when you're in a group like a committee or on a board, and there's this energy going between the committee or going between the board. How do you handle that? What is the way that that can be handled? Does it need to be taken aside out of the meeting? Probably. And for those two people to be able to speak separately with one or two other people, overseeing it and making sure that that doesn't get worse and that they are really truly listening to each other. They're giving their point of view, the other one's hearing, asking questions. Then that one gives their point of view. This one is hearing and asking questions for clarity. And then hopefully, because that has happened, the energy of the group becomes better. Even if they don't really say much to each other, that's fine. At least they can sit there in a little bit more of understanding, and the relationship isn't so out of kilter. So I know I'm going to have to do this with this committee because we thought we'd overcome it, but clearly we haven't. So now I need to get these people together and say, listen, guys, we need to sort this out. We can't have this happening all the time. It's not on. It's not grown-up behavior, actually. Can't say it like that, but that's what I'm thinking. They're behaving like boys, and we need to have some strategies in place. We need to be kind. We need to be respectful. Take a moment, take an hour before you respond. Think about it. Think, when you've texted something, look at the words. Are you acting from your highest self? That's a really great question to ask yourself before you send an email, before you respond to something. It's like, take a gap, leave a gap. Now name the emotion rather than immediately naming the emotion. When you've got that gap and you've had the time, maybe it is an hour that you need. Maybe it's just 10 minutes to just calm down. Maybe you need it overnight. Just go, just calm down and then go, okay, they might have meant it like this, or they might have meant it like that. I took it like this, and maybe that's not exactly what they meant. But I can respond from my higher self, the way that my best self will respond. How would that be? And when I can do that, then I'm the better person. So that is my message to you today. Can you respond, and will you respond from that higher level, or will you go right down and go into the child inside you? Because it doesn't look good, it doesn't sound good, it doesn't come across well when you're down there. It comes across far more better. It comes across far better, and it's far more powerful if you're responding from up here, from a place of, I'm not quite sure I understand. Could you explain that in a different way? Those sorts of questions, if you're not 100% sure what they meant by the message. There'll be another video coming up on screen, so I'll see you over there. Take care. Have a most awesome day. Bye for now.